What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Kareem Akbar. Back again. We back on BBO TV. Let everybody know that we back on BBO TV, man. Let everybody know that we back. Shout out to the mighty JBT, man. We in the house.
Yeah.
But we got a big show today.
Oh,
Puerto Rican Free, what's up, man?
What's good?
Um, so today we got a big show. A lot of people seeing, Bam Rodriguez, actually become the king of Philly for a night with a Cinderella finish, knocking out a guy who had never been stopped. So it was just really probably thanks to Bam Rodriguez, one of the most memorable nights we've seen for the zone. But another note, I want to ask you guys, what did you guys think about the I would say so performance of Jerron Ennis?
I think he got to learn to be more patient and don't push for the knockout. Let the knockout come. If you have to just outbox the guy, sometimes outboxing the guys is going to be what you able to do for the night. A lot of these guys want to put on a show for their home crowd, and so they push for the knockout, and it caused them to look bad or have a bad performance. So
Mm-hmm.
he gotta learn to just let the knockout come, which he should already know that, being though he had 32 fights already. He should
Mm-hmm.
already know that, but sometimes you still learning, so he just gotta learn to not push for the knockout, just let it come.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think that one thing I will say is, sometimes people can start being overcritical, but guess what? I don't care. This is what we do it. This is BBO Boxing TV. We're gonna keep it real. At the end of the day, for all those who say we can't do nothing, we ain't gonna do this. Guess what? We just hit 3,700 subscribers, 2 million views in 2 years. Shout out to the Doghouse community. We couldn't do it without you guys because that's not easy to do. I've been on YouTube. It's been exactly 2 years, and to be at 3,700 subscribers, 2 million views, I can't say thank you enough. I appreciate everybody coming through. I remember rocking with just one, two people, man. Shout out, man. But I just think that Boots Ennis, my bad, Jerron Ennis has just really been a disappointment. And the reason I said it is because if you look at his career, he looks like he's going to be the brand new version of one of my guys, Gary Russell Jr., where you see a lot of talent, even some skill. But I just think that he really is never going to do what we want him to do because at the end of the day, he's 28 and a tiger don't change their stripes. But let me ask you this, Free. When you coming off a so-so performance like this at 28 years old, would you feel pressure? I don't know if you can hear me, Free can hear me, but would you feel
You
the
said
pressure?
you said, do I feel the pressure for what?
If you were 28 years old, 30 something fights in, would you feel the pressure of still not having a big fight yet?
Yeah, because you got to remember he's just now starting to headline a card. Even though he got 32 fights in, I think he only headlined a card twice. So it's still
Mm-hmm.
a lot of pressure on him because he's never been a headline, and this is only the second time he's fighting in the city as a headliner. So you still want to live up to what you've
Mm-hmm.
been doing prior to you headlining. So it's still going to be pressure on you. I think when you get to a level of the veteran who's been at that level for a certain amount of time, then that's when the pressure starts to ease up a little bit. It's still always going to be pressure, but it starts to ease up. You're able to contain the pressure a little easier. But like I said, even though he has 32 fights, this is only the second time that he's headlined a card, so that pressure is going to be there.
Hey, shout out to my man, Paru.
there
Paru
you go.
Streets on. My man Tommy. What's going on, man? Neighborhood in the house. What's up with you, dog?
Oh man, you tell me, dog. You the man with the plan with the candy in your hand.
Hey, you got the best hand, man. I'm trying to figure out what you doing. What's going on with you, man? But we kind of get into a so-so performance by Jerron Ennis and just kind of, thanking God that Bam Rodriguez was on that card, because if he wasn't on that card, that would have to me would have been an utter disappointment as far as
So
action.
when do we start criticizing fighters for having a tough fight against an opponent that we all underestimated, maybe even him? When do we start doing that?
I mean, if you really,
It's
Go ahead.
okay to run into a guy that you can't knock out, who's game, who's just tough. I mean, the guy only got 3 losses. 2 of them come from boots. I
Hmm.
mean, the guy's not a. I mean, we've seen him at least 2 times minimum, right? So he
Hmm.
doesn't seem to be that bad of a fighter. I think he gives fits to all the damn welterweights right now, including Stanionis, including Brian Norman. I ain't saying he can beat those guys. I'm just saying he'll be like aggravating and nagging to them. You know what I'm trying to say? So the guy is not a bad fighter, man. It is what it is. The Boots was in a tough fight, and he has to clean up some things as well. Like Free said, he needs to clean up a couple things. But hey, Floyd got cracked. Roy got cracked. I mean, Roy went down. De La Hoya been down. They all been down and hurt, and sometimes a fight maybe they could have did a lot better, but it's just one of them nights. So it is what it is. I don't know what's the people's so like what it is like. Nah, if he was in there with Crawford, he would have got stopped. Well, we don't know that Crawford that he was getting hit in his last fight too. We don't know. We have to
Well,
see the fights, people.
what you're saying has some merit, prize. I get it. I get it. You're a homer. I totally get it. Shout out to North Philly. Shout out to Germantown. I get it. I get it. I just think you're not being realistic.
Like you
You
can't be
can't.
no more
You
realer than.
can't ask. You can't ask me when I got a promoter like Eddie Hearn. Pushing this guy the way he's pushing him. You can't tell me that was a good enough performance. That was not a good enough performance. And
No,
it's
it
okay
wasn't
to
the
say that.
best, but it
It's
wasn't
it's okay
horrible.
to say that. It's okay to say that. I think that's the problem with our world now. We can't even speak the God doggone truth without somebody getting offended.
I
If
just
you
told
that
you the
wet,
truth.
if you that
I,
wet in the pants about what we saying, because we talking real boxing, man, shout out to the Black Mamba. He said it best. This ain't no Sylvester Stallone stuff. This is boxing. It's about skill. Hold on. This is about skill. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the boy got more talent than skill. What you think about this T Sizzle and Free? What y'all think about it? I think the boy got more talent than skill. What do you guys think?
as far as Boots having more talent than skill,
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
um, did you watch the fight though? I mean, the fight was competitive by all stretch of the imagination. I think everything was overblown in the first fight. I thought, for me, you never heard me saying my man Karen was running. I thought he boxed fantastically. I thought that he just took himself out of opportunities where he could score. I think in this fight, he placed himself in opportunities where he could score a lot better. Boots was eager to put on a show, and in the process of what he did the last time, he was not really paying attention to every single minor detail, and he was going for the knockout. And in the process, he got touched up. Of course, now when you scale up in talent, you don't want to get touched up as much because maybe one of them ones will hit you and catch you off guard, and now you fighting an uphill climb. But let's not say that he don't have no talent or no skill. I mean, the brother got mad talent, he got mad skill. He just gotta craft it and use it,
Hmm.
make better application of it, so to speak, and fights where he don't have to work as hard to get what he wants, and actually use them to work against their own selves to bring them right to him. I think more so than anything, that's what he got to do. I think he was getting excellent advisement from his corner. I think in the process, he just saw Bam do something spectacular. It was a couple other fights that, had some pretty good dynamicism in there, and he wanted to go on and put the cherry on top. But sometimes when you put the cherry on top, you forget what you're putting the cherry on top of. And I think that he forgot what he was putting on top of. The bottom line is to make sure you win. And in the process of trying to go for the knockout, he still won. And I think he won pretty decisively. I just think
See
that
how
Karen
many
was
rounds you give Karen. Be honest.
4. But
Okay,
Last night,
that's fine.
I mean Saturday, I gave Kern, I gave him roughly about 3 or 4. I gotta go back and
3
look,
or 4.
but I
Yeah,
gave, I
Yeah,
3 or
gave him
4.
like
that's
three.
what I
I gave him
had.
like 3 or 4.
I gave him like 3 or 4 myself.
Now, what I will say is the first time that I've seen Jerron Boots Ennis lose any rounds. I will say that. I've never seen
That's the
him lose
truth.
rounds.
That's the
Um,
truth.
the thing is, we gotta. I mean, it's okay to be it's okay to criticize the fighters when we see something that we don't normally see. Because
Right.
every one of these fighters are up for criticism when they have a performance, whether it's good criticism or it's bad. They're all up for criticism when they have a performance.
Uh,
And unfortunately for Boots, it's going to be more bad because we used to seeing him better than this. Um,
yeah,
I think his ring IQ and his judgment was up for question Saturday night, because his ring, if he would have used the ring IQ that we believe that he had, it would have told him, let the fight come to you. Don't push the fight. Let it come to you.
Yeah, because
And
Karen was right there too, Free.
Well,
That was right in front of
let
him.
me say this. Let me say this because I want Free to finish on that, but I want to just put a pause right there, Free. The only thing I'm saying, Free, the man is 30 something fights in. He is who he is at this point. So go ahead from there.
no,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
land
yeah,
there.
he's 32 fights in, but like we all said, he hasn't really fought anybody. So you can be 40 fights in. If you haven't really fought anybody, your ring IQ has never really been tested. Your judgment hasn't really been tested because you was in there with guys that you were supposed to look good against, that
Right.
you were supposed to beat. So once you have those level of opponents to push your ring IQ, to grow your ring IQ, you start to see a different type of fighter. That's the reason why I picked Tank Davis over a lot of these guys, because of his ring IQ. He's been in there
Right.
with a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different type of fighters. Everybody said, well, he can't fight this type of guy. Well, he did that, and he had the same effect. Well, he can't fight that type of guy. Well, he did that, had the same effect. So when you look at a guy that does the same thing, no matter who they are, then you say, okay, his ring IQ is on this level. When you see guys that fight a certain style and they look good, but then they fight another style and they start to struggle, you say, okay, they got to work on some things. So Tank Davis still needs to work on things as well. But when it comes to his contemporary, he doesn't have to work on it as much as they do, because they have points where they struggle where Tank Davis don't struggle as much as they do.
Do you think Karen
I'll
is
say
his
let me hold on,
toughest fight, BBO?
hold on.
I
Let me
just
say
want to
this
know.
real quick. No, let me say this real quick. I think because Free making some good points. I think the thing we got to do. I don't wanna glaze over Abdul Wahid. I don't want to not give him his just due. I would just say this about Abdul Wahid. He's shown us time and time again the skill is there. Time and time again, the skill has been there. Time and time again, he's added nuances to his game that we had never seen before. You know, a lot of people had to get up here and lie to the people and say, "Oh, I knew he had feet like that. Oh, I knew he could do that." Man, let's be honest. A lot of us are not in the gym with this guy, with these guys. We don't know what they can do
Who you
until
talking
we
about?
see him in there. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just talking in general.
Oh.
Yeah,
No, I was asking what fighter you said we saw that had the
no.
skill.
Okay, I'll give you an example. When I say I seen the skill, I seen that Tank can stay away from a big guy if he's punching hard. Mario Barrios, prime example. We got to see a little bit of those feet because people forget the way he was able to close distance and come all the way out, close distance, come out, and pretty much control the mid range with a bigger guy, with a guy like Mario Barrios. I thought that was special. That's skill. Another example, broken hand, not himself, gave Pitbull a boxing lesson. So that's what I mean when I say, like, I think we just really missing a point. Jerron Ennis is who he is. He's a very good fighter, but he's not no cigar. I mean, and I'm going to keep saying this, and this is not me being critical. This is me comparing to somebody that I like. I feel like he's a poor man's Gary Russell. He just never had the big fights. He's 30 some fights in. There's a chance that he might never get those fights, if we being honest here. There's a chance he might never get them. Go ahead.
There's a chance, but from what I've been hearing, they said it last night. Virgil Ortiz might be next on the list, because if he can't get these fights at 47, they looking to go after Virgil Ortiz at 54. So that's one of the fights that everybody's been saying they want to see him in there with, which I think is a good fight. I think Boots will outbox him, but we'll see what happens when that fight happens. But that's a big fight that everybody said they want to see. So I'm not gonna say that he might not get those big fights, because those big fights that a lot of people talk about is the Bud Crawford and Earl Spence. Yeah, but those guys are a generation before him. We talking about his generation, those big fights with his generation, with the Virgil Ortiz, the Tim Zoos, the Sebastian Fendor, those guys. Those are the fights that I want to see. Now, yeah, Jerron Ennis want the Terrence Crawford and the Bud Crawford and the Terrence Crawford and the Earl Spence, because that's the generation before him. Those were the big names before him. So everybody wants those guys that was before them to put their name on the map. But he might not get those because they're at the tail end of their career and they looking to get either big fights or championship fights. They're not looking to go backwards. So unless he put himself in line to fight one of those guys, he probably won't get those two guys. But the other guys, he very well can get those. I don't think none of them will shy away outside of Virgil, from what his team said. Outside of him, I don't think none of those other guys will shy away from Jerron Ennis.
And you know what? I'll say this just to make it home. Just to make it home. What's the difference between Jaime Munguia and Jerron Ennis? Guess what, folks? There is none. He hasn't fought anybody. They said Jaime Munguia hasn't fought anybody. At the end of the day, when you struggle with a guy like Kieran, you can't tell me you elite. You can't tell me you elite. I don't care. Hold on, somebody mute up. Somebody got some bells in the background.
Yeah, who keep texting?
That's everybody sending messages right now.
Oh yeah, that's the group chat going off.
Yeah. We live. Mute that for me, my brother, please. I think the thing we gotta understand is
T said he keep getting booted. My bad.
You know, don't say. Remember, I said don't say that stuff during the live broadcast, bro. We got it. I seen it. Salute to my brother GP in the house. I'm just saying in general, we can't say he's this guy or he's that guy when we keep seeing him not fight nobody. And you say he's gonna fight Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is fighting guy. Barachek is a pretty good fighter. Barachek's pretty good. We haven't seen him in there with nobody like a Barachek, and Virgil lost that fight, to be honest with you. Salute to my man Piro.
Don't duck D1's comments.
No, we're not reading no cussing in here. Salute to my man.
You don't gotta read the cussing part. You can skip over that part.
But I get what D1's saying. He's got his own opinion, but I don't agree with it, and that's okay. I just say this. If we're going to talk about great fighters, I want to hear about skill, and that's what I want to see. The difference between a lot of guys is they don't possess the skill that we're looking for. Jerron Ennis showed you, once again, that he's not the guy that we thought he was. You say, how do you say that, BBO? Dude, you being caught up, and that's the thing. You being caught up, and that's why I call you.
That's why you're not reading none of the chat. The chat is agreeing like there's some good cooking in this chat going on.
Hold on 1 second.
Shout out to Bruce Gas. Shout out to Big Drizzy. The homie D1 Puro GP.
Well, this is the thing you're missing. We keep talking about greatness, right? That's one of the things that people don't talk about. Tell me why Kamel Moulton got 6 fights, right? All 10 rounders. I would say he has just as good a resume as Boots at this point.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
You're not look. He's fighting contenders.
Stop, BBO. Don't do that. That's just so lame.
Hold on. This ain't that type of show. We're not gonna yell when somebody say something we don't like. That's all I'm telling you. I'm thinking if you talk about the first 6 fights of a guy, fighting all 10 rounders, first 6 fights, and you fight contenders, and he's about 10 years younger, I would like how Kamel Moulton's career is going compared to how Boots' career is going.
You don't even know one person Kamel fought.
Listen, I do. I know you don't, but I do. But I'll say this. I think the whole thing in a nutshell is that, and it's not me trying to dash on Boots or any of that, because I love him. He's my brother. I want to see him do well. If I don't challenge him to be more, what are we expecting? That's why he ain't been nothing now. Because no one's demanding him to be great. Shout out to Errol Spence. Shout out to people like Deontay Wilder. When he knew he couldn't beat Fury, he still wanted some. Say what you want. There's been fighters who fought for free. If you want those tough fights, go get them. And if not, shut up. We know for a fact when he was signed to Cameron, he wasn't going to get no big fights. You know that. When has Cameron ever had a big-time fighter? God rest his soul. Never. You signed with a guy who did what you wanted, and you never got the big fights, and now you're 28 years old begging the fans for you to get a fight that you don't deserve. shut up and go earn some fights. Because guess what? I got, and this is a true contact on this. I got a person that's very close to Matchroom that let me know there's a real opportunity for us to see Virgil Ortiz versus Errol Spence in Dallas, Texas. That's a big fight. That might happen in Arlington, Texas. Go ahead.
No. You said Moulton has fought 6 fights, all 10 rounders.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No, that's not true at all. He hasn't fought not one 10 rounder. Not one. Not one.
I thought that he fought one. I could be wrong on that.
Not one. None of his
That's
fights.
Fine. That's fine. You could be. I could be wrong.
I'm looking at his resume right now. None of his fights was a 10 round.
I was doing that too.
Yeah. Now, the first guy he fought was 4-0. The second guy he fought was 3-0. The third guy he fought was 7-0 and 2 draws. The fourth guy he fought was 9-8-1. The fifth guy he fought was 5-2-1. The last guy he just fought was 4-5-0. 6 rounder, 6 rounder, 6 rounder, 8 rounder, 4 rounder, 4 rounder. He fought 8 rounder one time. Everything else was 6 rounders or 4 rounder. And his resume, you cannot say is on the same level of a Jerron Boots Ennis. Now you can say those guys might have had a better record than some of the guys that Jerron fought early in his career, but you can't say they on the same level. Right. Can't say they on the same level. They fighting at two different weight classes, 2 different type of fighters. You got a smaller guy fighting against small guys that doesn't hit that hard. You got a bigger guy fighting against bigger guys that hit much harder than 126 pounders. So you can't say they the same level of fighters. Second of all, you said that there's no difference between Jaime McGear and Jerron Boots Ennis. You said that he struggled with Kern. I didn't see him struggle with Kern. I see him struggle in trying to get a knockout. I didn't see him struggle with Kern. I see him struggle trying to get a knockout. He beat Kern easily. He was struggling trying to get a knockout. That's the struggle that he had, not the fight. Getting the knockout was the struggle. Second of all, the difference between Jaime McGear and Jerron Boots Ennis is clearly what you said. It's skill level. That's the difference between the two. One is a better skill fighter than the other one. Jaime McGear is not a bad fighter, but when we talk about skill level, Jerron Boots Ennis is light years above Jaime McGear as far as skills. Not the style of fighting, not the type of fighter, not who will beat who, just solely off of skill. Jerron Boots Ennis' skill level is light years above Jaime McGear. So you saying there's no difference? There's a big difference. The skill is different.
Yeah. This what I'll say. When we talk about skill, it's a lot of different ways that you can look at it. I think the Mexican style is we all know that's one of my favorites, the Mexican style. I would say that Jaime McGear is very skilled. To be the guy like the Miracle Man Danny Jacobs, that's not easy to do. People forget Danny Jacobs was beating people with he's the first guy to beat Derevyanchenko. I just think when you look at the overall movement of him, I honestly truly can say when it comes to Boots Ennis, he's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's not, but it's okay to say he's not that guy. He's not who we thought he was. There was a time they would compare him to Roy Jones. That's all cap. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is this. He won't be what people thought he would be because guess what? He was in a hometown headliner, and everybody who's not trying to be a writer is going to be honest. Bam stole the show. Bam is younger than him and is a pound-for-pound fighter with belts. So, I mean, I don't know what you're comparing it to. I like guys who go get belts, who show that they're the best. Hold on. I like guys who go get belts. I like a guy who shows they're the best. I like guys who make noise in their division, who fight the best guys. If I'm correct, I believe at 115, he's the Ring Magazine champion, which is the lineal champion, whether you respect that or not. I still give guys credit when they go get the best guy, win, lose, or draw. Because the thing that made, I'm playing on this, and I'm going to let my man freak over this. The thing that made Muhammad Ali special was that Muhammad fought a guy in Sonny Liston that no one wanted to fight. Floyd Patterson was kept away from him because Customano kept him away from him. So many guys were doing everything they could to get away from Sonny Liston. Muhammad went straight to him. Same thing when it came to Hearns. Nobody wanted to fight Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray Leonard said, "No, I'll fight him," and then he knocked him out. So no matter how you put it, boxing hasn't changed. We've been doing this for almost over 200 years at this point. We know who's got the goods. In my humble opinion, I don't see what people are seeing when it comes to Jerron Ennis. He's 30 and ain't fought nobody. But go ahead.
No, I mean, that if that's what you like, that's what you like. But see, that's the thing that I keep talking about. You keep saying I like guys that go get the belts and fight the best guys in their weight class or whatever. I keep telling you, there's certain guys that get opportunity to fight for the championship that other guys don't get the opportunity. We saw Jerron Boots Ennis trying to get the Earl and Bud fight. They wouldn't give him the opportunity. So it's not that he didn't want to fight him. They didn't give him the opportunity. So you can't say he's not that guy because he ain't fought the best guys in and around his weight class. He was trying to get it. They didn't give him the opportunity. They said, "No, hold off. We trying to do an undisputed fight first." And then when they did the undisputed fights, he was the mandatory to the undisputed champion, and he said, "Nah, that's a high risk, low reward. I'm not giving him that fight." So it's not that he didn't want the fight. He wanted the fight. They wouldn't give it to him. So you can't hold that against Jerron Boots Ennis of not getting the big fights when he wanted it and they wouldn't give it to him. And like I said, you keep saying that it's not the skill level, but then you say skill. The man is highly skilled. He had a bad outing trying to get a knockout, and it wasn't even a bad outing. He just looked bad trying to get a knockout. He clearly beat the dude. There's not a fight that you say, "Oh, Jerron Ennis might have lost that fight." No, he clearly won the fight. It just he was pushing for a knockout that he didn't get because he pushed for the knockout. If he would let the fight come to him, he probably would have got what he was looking for. But he was pushing to put on a show for his hometown crowd. He was trying to put on a show for him, and he did something that he shouldn't have did. But it wasn't like the man struggled in the daggone fight. He clearly won at the minimum 8 rounds. If you give Karen 4 rounds, so be it. At the minimum, he won 8 rounds. At the minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, I agree with the homie D1. I agree with him to an extent. I think that Karen will be tough for any of the welterweight title holders right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me say
So
this real quick.
I don't want to do that to Boots.
Salute to my man, Boxing Scholar, man. And you know what? We gotta, on a serious note, man, be free, man. Tell this man to stop stealing my grandmother's towels, man. I don't know what's going on with this dude. You're not gonna be able to go over there and take care of Nana, man. You keep going over there stealing her towels, man. Drinking up all her Welch's juice. We ain't feeling that. But on a serious note, I gotta say this, man. That's the problem with boxing. You know what? That's the kind of the problem with the society that we have at hand. If you don't agree with somebody, they're going to demonize you and say that you're wrong. At the end of the day, no one's wrong. It's just what you see and what you prefer as a fan. Hey, this is a boxing forum. When I say a boxing forum, if we get interviews, great. If we don't, great. My whole thing is to have a place where people can come talk about boxing. Shout out to Michael Brent Way. This is all this is about. Talk about boxing. Tell us what you think. I'll tell you what I think. You tell me what you think. And that's what we do. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest here. Boots Ennis is 27. It's 30. I don't know where people at. I guess we got to play these stupid games like 27 ain't almost 30 years old. At the
It's
end of the
not
day,
30.
at the end of the day, it's because that's just how you feel. I don't care. I'm going to say this. It don't matter. We talking about guys who are younger than him that have surpassed him. We talking about Bam is doing better than him. Tank is older than him. Bam is doing better than him. A guy in his own class, we ain't seen Boots fight nobody as good as Baranchik. Still at 27. And you can say Virgil lost that fight, which I thought he did. But guess what? He was in it. He was in it. There's a big chance, from what I'm hearing, that he might get a huge payday with Errol Spence. But go ahead, Bosco. I want to bring you in here. I want your opinion on this, man. Go ahead.
First off, shout out to my homie BBO. Your grandma had that shit coming. She was always late for Sunday service. You know what I mean? Hey, and the work never stopped for my homie DBO. He at Planet Fitness right now in the sauna going live, and I love it, man. I love it. But not. I just wanted to say this, man. BBO, you are 100% fucking right, bro. Oh shit, my bad. Damn, I can't help myself. My
You
bad.
can't say that
You're
word. You can say
100%.
the D word, no F words.
You're
Go ahead.
you're 100% right, bro. You are 100% right, bro. Boots. I heard you laying the groundwork for this. If he struggled in this fight before it, and I heard D Free try to give him some wiggle room, saying, "Oh no, if he go in there and he run, he stood right in front of him, bro, and he was not able to get him out of there. So no excuses, bro. If anything, you can make the argument that Karen exposed Boots twice. The first
Mm-hmm.
time he went in there, he showed he had superior footwork over Boots. This time he showed superior footwork from the mid range. Boots got exposed for what he is. He's a what you say 30 because I don't know about y'all math. BVO math seemed to be on point. He rounding up. You know what I mean? We went to class. Shit. When you 48 years old, you're 50. They say you 50. You know, 50 on the way. Get your own deck. What they say, Claude, your own deck. You know what I mean? You play baseball, your own deck. But nah, Boots is definitely 8 years into his career and has fought nobody. He's allowed guys who we complain about not fighting anybody, like you said, surpass him. Tank has a belt, and we complain about Tank's resume. Boots is exactly who we thought. What was that clip? They were who we thought they were. That's exactly who he is. I mean, Boots is a guy that passes the eye test. The eye test doesn't mean anything in the sport of boxing. It's not
Mm-hmm.
enough. We've seen a bunch of talented people come through the sport of boxing. Howard Davis, guys like that, Meldrick Taylor's, people like that. The eye test, they just blow it out the water. But when they
Mm-hmm.
actually get tested in the ring, I mean, they come up short. And this is boxing. We will never know until we know. And Boots will never get in there. And then to make matters worse, after the fight, he says, well, I got to go to 154 because I don't have pop at 147. Then the guy was like, oh, I was going to ask you if you're going to unify. Oh, no, I'll unify if these guys will fight me. Bro, nobody's ducking you, bro. Brian Norman Jr., which everybody would consider is on the cusp of a prospect, even though he has a belt, wanted to fight you. Nobody's ducking Boots. He should get undisputed at 147 based off the eye test. That's why you can't go off the eye test. Because now he's talking about going to 54. At 54, the guy that just fought Tim Tszyu, he messes Boots up, without a doubt.
Oh my God, that's gonna hurt him.
That all
Go ahead.
sounds good. That all sounds good. But last time I checked, Boots does have a belt. So you said he ain't got nobody with a belt. But I mean, you say he ain't fighting nobody. But like I said, last time I checked, the reason why he got his belt is because the champion just said he wasn't going to fight him because he's a high risk, low reward. So he was trying to fight that champion. He was trying to fight Earl. They wanted to unify. I mean, they wanted to unify the belts. So he tried to fight those guys. He tried to fight them. They wanted to fight each other instead of fighting Boots. And then when they finished, neither one of them wanted to fight him. They moved out of the weight class. So you can't say that he ain't trying to fight nobody. He is trying to fight him. Now, his father said if they can't unify, they will move to 54. Everybody said Boots need to go to 54. There's no competition for him at 47. Well, he already said if he can't unify, they are going to 54. So it shouldn't be no excuse. I mean, you saying he ain't that, he this and that. The eye test is one thing, but it doesn't matter in the ring. What fighter beat him? Nobody beat him. Nobody
Yeah.
won. Nobody won more than 4 rounds. And the only guy that won 4 rounds, like I said, was the guy this past Saturday. If you want to give him 4 rounds, he's the only one that won 4 rounds. Nobody else won 4 rounds on Jerron Boots Ennis. So you saying he's not that? He's only what we see. He's what we believe he is, or he's not what we believe he is. Nobody has proven us wrong. The guy won 4 rounds. If, like I said, if it's between 3 or 4 rounds, I got to go back and look at my cards. But it was between 3 and 4 rounds. I say 4 on the high end. Say 4 rounds. The guy won 4 rounds. Last time I checked, 4 rounds does not win you the fight. You need a majority of the rounds to win the fight. So the guy won 4 rounds. Okay.
Brother Freak, let me ask you this real quick. I don't want to interrupt you. I want to ask you this question just to add to you. So what happens when he meets his Lomachenko?
Then listen, this is what y'all fellas realizes. I'm not saying that he beats everybody. I'm saying that the dude got skills. He's calling for the fights. They not giving him the fights. You saying Brian Norman wanted to fight. Brian Norman wanted more money. The fight was there to be made. He said, we give you 1.5. Nah, my son need to be able to clear at least 1 million. Well, you want more money. You don't want the fight. Because if you want the fight and you think you could beat him, you'll take the 1.5, beat him. Now you're the big name at 147 and you got 2 belts. So you saying that ain't nobody ducking him. Well, they asking for more money. If you believe you could beat him, get the money that you claim that they offer you, get that money, and now you become the big name. You become the big name. You can demand more money because now you're unified. You beat Jerome Boots Ennis, who most people got as number 1 at 47. So now you the man on top.
Let me get Brother Prize on here to get some of these comments. Go ahead, Brother Prize. We're gonna start at this one. He said you a
Where we
Bud
at?
fan. I got the one that you said you a Bud fan. That's why you up here saying that. You can't say, buddy, nobody will be fighting Boots. Email Belt, he said he up here capping. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't stand Bud Crawford as a person. Because I've actually got to be in his vicinity before. I can't stand him as a person. But he's a hell of a fighter. And you know, BBL don't be cussing. BBL don't cuss. He's a hell of a fighter. And there's no getting around it. This dude, Bud Crawford, is going to go down as one of the greatest guys to ever live in this sport. So there's no need to cap for him.
I'm on record for saying after the fight, I said that version of Jerome Boots Ennis, if he was to fight Bud Crawford, he gets stopped. He gets stopped badly. I said that after the fight because I didn't like that version of Jerron Ennis. But I also said I believe Jerron Ennis, if he fight Bud Crawford or somebody like Earl Spence, somebody who he respect as a fighter, I think he fights them differently.
Way
differently. You remember we had that guy, I can't remember his name. We used to have a guy who used to come on the chat, and he had his cap on backwards one time.
Oh, you talking about Victor?
Yeah, Victor. Shout out to Victor, man. We used to have a dude on Victor, his cap backwards, right? So put it like this, like the great Shaquille O'Neal or the great Charles Barkley said it best. Just because I'm giving a critique does not mean I'm up here pooping on you. I'm sorry guys are so sensitive that I can't even give you a point without you saying I'm pooping on somebody. I'm giving you my educated opinion on what I see. I'm just an analyst. And at the end of the day, if anybody want to say anything about what we saying, guess what, dog? We analysts. We telling you what we see. And at the end of the day, I'll put it like this. Say what you want. Puerto Rican Free is one of the best eyes in boxing. When I say one of the best eyes in boxing, the kid knows fighters. And I get what he's doing because Boots is black. I get it. He's protecting him. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I want to say is I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, Asian, whatever. If you can fight, you can get some of BBO's money. Pause. It's just that simple. What I seen with Boots Ennis, when he meets it,
BBO, you flying people out.
When he meets his Lomachenko, guess what? He's gonna get his head scraped. He's gonna get scraped. Say what you want. Oh, he'll beat Virgil Ortiz. I believe it when I see it. Oh, he'll beat Bud Crawford. I believe it when I see it because we know Bud Crawford for kicking ass. That's what Bud Crawford do. He kick ass. I'm an Errol Spence fan. We all know that. We know it's Big Fish man down all day for BBO. We know that. But guess what? That fish got fried, and they had coleslaw and fries over there. So with the Hawaiian bread, with the good Hawaiian, you know what I'm talking about? You know that good Hawaiian bread you have when you make them sandwiches? They had that good Hawaiian bread for that Errol Spence fish. So say what you want, but don't do nothing but collect belts and collect money. But go ahead, John. I want to ask y'all this before we go to the next thing. How great was Ben Rodriguez that night? I want everybody to go. Go ahead. Start off with 2 pros. You ain't been saying much.
Nah, I thought Bam did a hell of a job. He looked good. He looked like I understand. I don't know if I would put him on the pound for pound list. I guess I could throw him at 10, but he put on an A+ performance. He came out there and he excited the crowd in the city. Man, everybody was happy for that. It was an excellent performance. I can't wait to see him get in there and step the comp up a little bit, see where he goes, man. But I'm rocking with Bam though.
No, I mean,
yeah. Bam was sharp.
Bam put on a hell of a performance. He showed the reason why he is the linear champion at that weight class. He's the best fighter at that weight class right now until somebody prove him wrong. I don't see nobody at 115 beating him. I think he needs to move up because he just pummeling all of those guys at 115. I don't see nobody going the distance with Bam at 115. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the bigger guy when he comes in on fight night. He just bogarts and straight through anything that they throw. And I mean, the dude is powerful. They call him Bam for a reason. But I think his better fights is probably at 122. I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna say 118. I think his better fights is at 122 because 118 they got a couple of okay fighters, but I don't think none of them are really dealing with Bam. I think his more competition for him is at 122.
Yeah.
I agree with Free.
What you got on that, Scholar? We know you watch all day. You be at the house still in tower, so we know you watch it. Go ahead, man.
That's
Um,
crazy.
I think Bam is a good
Mhm.
fighter. I think probably top 10 pound for pound. I don't even know the name of the opponent that he was fighting. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any talented people that could give him a challenge unless he moves up.
Mhm.
But I mean, what did the performance already know? There can't nobody really mess with him at that weight class or around that weight class. So I really didn't learn much from it. Now, but BBO, before you get on it, man, you ain't let me respond to this boot stuff because you was dead on with that, man.
Go ahead.
You got people in their feelings with this boot stuff, man. But you was right. You was dead on with that point that you made. So back to this boot stuff, right? Boots
Mhm.
is older than Brian Norman Jr., right?
Mhm.
So everybody know you don't get better the older you get, right? That's why we always mention it. Age. Bud almost 40, Bud 38, Bud 37. We always mention the age because the window closes the older that you get, right?
Mhm.
Out of Brian Norman Jr. and Boots, Brian Norman Jr. is the younger fighter. And he has a belt, by the way. And you
Mhm.
want Brian Norman Jr. to just prove himself and take less money and go get the when you offered Karen a lot of money for a rematch that nobody cared to see. And this is exactly what happens when you fight level of opposition like this. It happened when Deontay Wilder fought Eric Molina and nobody asked for that fight. He almost got his belts took. Then he fought Luis Ortiz, got hurt in that fight. When you fight lower opposition and
Mhm.
you get hurt, knocked down, or any of that stuff, people are gonna say you got exposed. Because I guarantee if he'd have fought Brian Norman Jr. and he'd have struggled but he'd overcame, they'd have said Boots is that guy, you know. This is another top tier guy. If he'd have did against Stanionis, they would have said that. But when you fight somebody like Karen, you're supposed to do what a guy who's being compared to Roy Jones Jr., right? Can you imagine Roy Jones Jr. with the level of a Karen in there, bro? He would have starched them. They're comparing this guy to Roy Jones Jr., bro. He up there, bro. Come on, man. Y'all know, I know
Scholar.
y'all seen him get wobbly leg by Karen, bro. This dude is named after the meme that went viral for a white woman who likes to go to the managers. And this guy went 12 rounds with a guy who y'all are comparing to Roy Jones. Y'all gotta stop it, man. We gotta stop this, man. Boots was exactly who we thought he was.
Can I ask
And
a question? What was the
let me say
money
this
that?
real quick for you. Let
Hold
me
on,
say
hold
this
on,
before
hold
you
on,
go.
hold up. What was the money that Jerron Boots in his office current?
He got an extra
I
$2
don't
million
know.
dollars for that fight.
He didn't.
They got an
He
extra.
didn't. They didn't agree to no money. He didn't offer current. You don't know if he offered current more money than
No,
what he
no, they
offered
paid.
before.
No, they paid the promotion.
No,
They paid
listen,
them $2 million more to come here, to come to
listen,
Philly.
listen, listen,
Go ahead.
listen. You don't know if he offered Kern more money or not because Kern team won the purse bid, so he got paid more money. They won the purse bid, so he
And it
got
looks
paid more
like
money.
this, D Free. It looks like Jerron Ennis made 1.3 million and Karen made 700,000.
Mhm.
So he didn't.
Well, that,
Kern didn't get more money at all.
Right.
They offer.
well,
They
we
offer.
can't over. We can't
700,000
over.
for no belt.
But
We can't over.
they offer him double. He was getting 15, he was getting 1.5. They offer him double than what they gave Kern.
But he's been
Listen.
fighting 8 years and he has a belt and his goal is to be undisputed. So why would he
Mhm.
take the money? Why would he take the money fight versus the
No,
undisputed?
you take the money fight because of the fact that you believe you can beat the other champion.
What?
You you
Did you
take
just hear what I asked?
you take the Jerron Boots Ennis fight, which is the money fight. You believe you can beat him. That's the money fight. Jerron
That's
Boots
not
Ennis
what he
is
asked.
the
That's
money
not what
fight.
he asked, Rick. I think you missed what he asked. He said, "Why would you go take a bigger fight at 54 if you want legacy?" But you know what? Let me say
No,
this
he
real
said
quick.
he would take a bigger fight if he would take the fight at 54 if he can't get the unifications. That's what they said. If they can't get the unification, they will move to 54. They're not going to waste
No,
their time at 47.
no, no. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm
Hold
saying.
on one second. Shout out to Melanin Queen, always showing love, man, in the chats, all the time. We don't say thank you enough, man. If you definitely want to show us some support, man, hit her cash app. If you can, Melanin Queen, put your cash up out there so a couple people can hit that cash app. Because you do a lot, you don't get enough thank yous. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We one of the only black shows on YouTube, and I appreciate you always supporting us, man. But go ahead, my bad, Scott. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, this
Bam
is a
made
black show? I'm out of here.
Bam
I didn't
made
know this was a black
400
show.
and
Y'all lied to me. BBO lied to me. He didn't tell me it was a black show. He said it's gonna be on Telemundo. But
damn.
no,
Bam made 425,000. That's pretty good. Guaranteed.
Mike Garner, salute.
no. But
But
this is what I was saying.
go ahead.
He took the fight with Karen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Norman Jr. Senior was trying to negotiate with him. We don't know nothing but what they told us. We ain't seen no
For
contract, right?
sure.
But what I'm saying is, why didn't he try to make the fight to go get the belt if your goal is undisputed? Because if he would have had that fight with Brian Norman Jr., he would have had 2 belts if he's the guy that
Mm-hmm.
y'all are saying that he is, no matter what the purse was. Because he said after the fight, "Thank you, Philly, for coming out to watch me fight a guy who nobody knows." He said
Mm-hmm.
this.
Well,
He
this
did
this
say
is
that.
this is the reason why he took the current fight, because they had a time limit on to negotiate for the unification. Brian Norman Jr. didn't want to take the 1.5, 1.7, whichever one it is. He didn't want to take it. So they had 30 days to try to negotiate another fight before the current fight had to be made, because that was the mandatory for the IBF. The IBF don't play around with nobody. If they call it mandatory, that's who you fight. And we don't care about no unification, none of that. So they had 30 days to make a fight for unification, or he had to fight Kern. Brian Norman and them said they wanted 2 million. Eddie Hearn wasn't giving him 2 million, so they made the Kern fight. But Brian Norman took a fight where he was about to make 400,000 when he could have took the fight with Boots and made 1.5, 1.2, and it would have been a
Well,
unification.
the homie Michael Garner in the chat said the last offer to Brian Norman was a whopping 1.7.
Yeah, well, 1.7, like I said, you would still offer more money to fight Boots for unification, and you even though you wouldn't have cleared $1 million or whatever, it still was more money than you would have made and at the end that you would have got fighting the fight that you was taking. You took a
Right.
fight for 400 some odd thousand, and you could have fought Boots for unification. If you believe you could beat Boots, you take that and you say, okay, we didn't clear $1 million, but the next fight we definitely going to clear $1 million, because not only are we the unified champion, but we beat the #1 guy. We're not taking no shorts.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you this real quick. Because one thing about you, Free, people say this all the time, but you're a Puerto Rican and you're fair. I'm gonna ask you this: if we being honest here, when we see a guy like Jerron, and it's what we've seen, right? Can we honestly say that Errol Spence wouldn't have beat him to death? I think Errol would have beat him to death. If they was a fight, same age, I think Errol beats him to death. What would you say about that?
Earl in his prime, I thought Earl beats Jerron Ennis.
Today?
Earl right now today.
No, not today. We talking about in his prime, same age.
Yeah, Earl in his prime, I thought Earl would beat Jerron Ennis, but that's what I believe. I don't know if that's actually what happened. That's what I believe, because I thought Earl was a monster. He was a monster. He was stopping everybody. So I don't know what happens if they was a fight now. I from what I seen from Earl his last fight, I don't know.
But that being said, on a positive note, the cool thing about it, hey, and I just said Melanie Queen's cash app. Make sure you do it, man. Hit her cash app. We got it up here on the screen for y'all. But the thing that's so funny about this, and why does no one talk about how bad Eddie Hearn talks to fighters? He talks to fighters like he done lost his mind. The fact that he was talking to Blair the Flair, who just beat a 4-division champion, knocked his tooth out, knocked one of his waves out. The fact that he could talk to fighters like that, I'm gonna ask you guys this. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Does Eddie Hearn have a bias against black fighters? What would you guys say to that?
Um, I don't know if he has a bias against black fighter. I think Eddie Hearn likes who he likes. I think a lot of these promoters are the same way. They like who they like, whether they black, white, Hispanic, Asian. They like who they like. If they feel that they can make the most money with this particular fighter, they're gonna boost that fighter all every time over another fighter. If they feel like they can make more money with that fighter, they're gonna boost that fighter over everybody. So I just think it depends on the fighter, who they feel is marketable, who they feel the fans want to see. I think that's the fighter that they try to push.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's a good point, but I don't know. I feel like the way he was talking to Blair the Flair, or the way he used to talk to his own fighter and Boo Boo Andre. Remember when Boo Boo Andre showed up to the press conference with Canelo? Eddie Hearn, like he didn't even know who he was. He was like, "Get out of here, man. This ain't the time." I'm just wondering, why is he always going against fighters who looking to be great? Is that just me, or did you guys see that as well?
I mean, if you the two guys that you talking about, Eddie Hearn, he tried to make money with him, and those guys didn't produce any money. He had he had Boo Boo Andrade for years, and he couldn't make no money with Boo Boo Andrade. I don't know if it was the fighters that he was fighting, Boo Boo Andrade marketability. I don't know what it is, but he
Mhm.
couldn't make no money with that guy. And he had Blair the Flair for a short period of time. He didn't make no money with him. So I just
Yeah.
think if he can't make no money with you, he don't really want nothing to do with you. I think that's the same thing he's feeling with Devin Haney right now. I think he feel like Devin Haney is damaged goods, and so
Mhm.
you see him kind of push Devin Haney to the side a lot. He's not so big and boosting up Devin Haney like he was prior to the Ryan fight. So I mean, I think if he feels like there's no money there, he's not pushing you. He's not pushing you at all.
And he rich. Rich people always talk down to people. You know what I mean? You see what happened when he was with in Better Be face stuff. When Better Be told him basically he'll get on his ass. He was like, well, yeah, bro. He started turning the pink to the mug. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know if race plays a part. I mean, he could. You never know. He was a rich dude. He's a rich white dude. I mean, how could you separate race from him? I think he just talked like that to anybody who he feel like all the boxers, because he feel like they all beneath him. So it is what it is. Now, if you make him some money, if you Canelo, because Canelo charged him up about some comments he made. Hey man, he blamed it on somebody
you
else.
you
I was like,
remember you
what?
remember when he got here to
Yeah.
the States, he talked about Canelo like a dog. Talked about Canelo like a dog. Called him a drug cheat. Said he didn't deserve to be in his position he was in. I mean, you hitting it right on the head, Star. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying Eddie's racist. By no stretch am I saying it. I'm just saying I think Eddie Hearn's a clown, and I think he's bad for the sport. If you can't respect a guy coming to a press conference, come on, man. That's what we want to see, man.
Eddie Hearn is a top 10 corporation. If he can't make no money with you, he don't want to deal with you. That's what he is. He's a top 10 corporation. If a corporation can make money with the small companies, that's the best company out here. Get with this small company. They doing the best business out here. They in the local area. Soon as that small company not making no money, you don't hear no mention of that small company. You don't see no commercials for that small company or nothing. That's what Eddie Hearn is. If you can make him some money, you're the best thing smoking. You can't make no money, you on the
He
back burner.
done.
He
Yeah,
he
he
pushing
cooked.
to the next one.
Eddie's only about making money, and if he can't do that with you, it's a wrap.
Well, Scott, let me ask you a question because I know you get into it with boxing. What happens when guys give their whole career like a Joe Louis and they end up with nothing? Kind of tell us about it because you go deep into this, man. You know a lot about this. Tell us about those fighters, man, who gave up everything and still left the sport with nothing. Go ahead, man.
That's a majority of the fighters in boxing. Boxing is ran by the
Hmm.
mice. The mice run the lions in boxing. That's the craziest thing. But like they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. It ain't the biggest, strongest athlete in the room. It's the one that's the
Hmm.
smartest. and Don King and Bob. Bro, Don King and them guys made it to their
That's
90s, bro.
crazy.
Living off other people taking punches, bro. Other people taking punches for them, bro, so they could drive a Rolls Royce, bro, just to rob them out of all their money. Like, that's the craziest part about it. So, but now, bro, we live in a time where, fighters are making the money that they feel like they deserve, and fans are mad about it. And this is what I always say: you can't have it both ways. We either gonna get the Roberto Durant's, the Tommy Hearns fighting each other in their prime, and potentially get paid whatever, or they gonna hold out to make the mega fight like Floyd did with Pacquiao, and they both laughed to the bank account. And that fight took what, 5-7 years to make. You can't have it both ways. I mean, you gonna have to pick one. You have to pick a poison, but. Yeah, boxing is a horrible sport. That's why I'm all for fighters getting the most money that they can get. I'll critique them, but at the end of the day, I'm pro fighter, because you see it. You see the Joe Louis where Frank Sinatra got to hold dinners where he's singing and pass out collection plates, and then he died with dementia and die of a heart attack, and he's all alone. That stuff is sad. Sugar Ray Robinson the same. It's the same tale. You take all of these great fighters that we revere, they all have tragic endings. It's always the same. They die alone, broke, with some type of brain disease, because they took punches their entire career. Meanwhile, Don King, them, they get to see every era. They get to see civil wars. They get to see, you know what I mean? They like a time machine. They get to go through every single and rich in every era like a I think they vampires. Now that I say that out loud, I think Don King and Bob Emmer are vampires.
Hey man, you can't talk
Yeah.
about Big Don. What do you say? Working together works. Send over Mauricio. Don King. Go ahead, my bad. Did you hear that, Free? What he said? Working together works.
But no, I seen Don King do a video the other day. His Excellency, come on, man, let's make this money together. Let's get these fighters together. I was like, damn, Don, like, bro, this crazy, bro. Joe Biden is probably 20 years younger than Don King, bro. And he is fading. He's flickering like a light bulb, bro. Like, and Don King's still out there, bro. That money motivate him, bro. I remember Tim Witherspoon said he went to Don King house. He was playing with his kids. Said he never seen him smile. Said the only time he seen Don King smile was when they brought up money or started talking about money. And it's like, yeah, I can see that, bro. That money still motivating that. I think Don King is in better shape than Bob Arum.
You know, the funny thing, man, and I gotta talk to Free about it, because one thing about Free, me and Free are like Don King and Bob Aaron, but we came together to do something special. Shout out to my man Prize, man, the glue of the crew. But you know what's so funny? Like you just said, I never even thought about it. My favorite fighter growing up was terrible Tim Witherspoon, because I used to see him in the limo with Uncle Carl King. Shout out to Uncle Carl. We're gonna get you on the show, Uncle Carl. If I run into you at Walmart again, man, next thing I'm gonna put you in the headlock, turn the camera on. But I think the thing that's so funny about Don is, did you see how confident and happy Don looked at 90 years old? To even say what he said, working together works. Set it up, and just like he owned Mauricio's father, he owns Mauricio. Y'all realize that all those fights that Don King be having be WBC fights, sanctioned fights, for a few before he got beat to death. Adrian Broner was the silver champion at 1-4. You realize that, Free? Like, Don King, 91 years old, and still on the WBC. They even had the FBI go again, as Prize like to say. Prize like to tell the FBI when people do stuff. They even
Only
had
only the corrupt boxing judges.
They had Jose. Was it Jose Suleiman? Jose Suleiman was about to go to jail because he was in bed with Don. And Jose,
crazy.
God bless his soul, he's a wonderful brother, wonderful, treated brothers great. He's gone. His son Mauricio, his baby boy, is in Don's pocket too. Did y'all see Mauricio when he was hanging out with Don King, eating the candy out the bowl like he was 5 years old? Did y'all see that?
I don't think that was Mauricio. I think that was
No,
a
that was
different dude.
Mauricio.
It was the ran the wire. I don't think it was Mauricio, because he had to step down.
You thinking about Mendoza, when Mendoza from WBA was there. I'm talking about, this is like probably about 2 years ago. Mauricio was in there with Don, because I think this is when Don was on the scooter, because remember, I don't know if you know, he tore his ACLs in both legs. The thing that was so funny
Tyson tore his
was,
ACL.
no, I'm talking about Don King. Don King tore
I'm
his
clowning.
ACL.
I'm clowning. I said Tyson toward Don
Oh,
King ACL.
you go. But I'm just saying, if you think about it, how does Don King, and you just brought up a good point. You brought up our next show, dog. That's why I say you a genius, scholar. You just brought up our next show. Hey, Free, they both 91 years old, chilling. 91 chilling, ain't got dementia. Only person I
Yeah,
ever heard speak nicely about them guys was my favorite, Tim Witherspoon. Am I right? Didn't he speak good about Don? We kept on for a little bit.
yeah. They about the same age. I think Don is a little bit older than Bob.
Outlived all his enemies too. All those guys who talked about him like a dog. Prize, you seen it. He outlived them. He's
Yeah, I
about to
rock with
do a
Big
show.
Don.
He about to do a show with Turkey. Y'all,
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Scholar really, hey, that's why I say the kid, even though he still Charles, go over to drink up all my grandma's juice, the brother the genius, man. It's just that simple. The brother the genius. But before we get out of there, I want to ask you guys a serious question. When you see the way boxing is going today, do you guys notice how Turkey has really shined a light on the cesspool that we call boxing today? Have you guys noticed that?
I think Turkey is a cesspool. I think
Mm,
I think
damn.
I think Turkey is the Frankenstein. He's the Frankenstein of what boxing done. Boxing has showed time and time again that it ain't the talent. You know what I mean? It ain't the smarts. The cream of the crop is the richest. You know what I mean? You could always know who a fighter who's gonna win a fight by their record, and who their promoter is. It's a good. You could put your money on that. If there's like 100 fights in a year, if you go by that formula, you'll win more times than you lose because that's our sport as a whole. And I feel like Turkey's the Frankenstein of that. But he does put on good cards. I will give him that. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing I brought up on my show, man, I said YouTubers they ain't got no foresight. I said Turkey is good short term, right? Short term definitely good because he's giving us good fights. But you got to look at two things that happened this year. It was top heavy. You know what I mean? When the boxing was good, you know what I mean? Everybody was tuned in. Boxing kind of been a little bit slow lately. It ain't been like it started off the year. And then not only that, boxing is the free market, right? Free independent
Mm-hmm.
contractors. Right now, me and BBO could go to the Mike Tyson fight that's happening next week in Dallas that I will be at. But we could go to that fight, right? If everything is under Turkey's umbrella, you could forget about that YouTube stuff. Who gonna fly to y'all gonna fly to Saudi Arabia for these fights?
No.
And you know it's gonna be
Definitely not.
exclusive.
Definitely not.
Nah, I'm not. I'm not going nowhere.
No.
Not
I don't know
going.
about
Yeah.
y'all, but I got my turban ready. I'm gonna put that little bandana on like Deontay Wilder and them, Hamdulillah, and I'm going over there.
I'm
I
I'm
ain't trying to
I'm
go
I'm
there.
I'm not that into boxing where I'm gonna spend all that money just to go watch a match and then fly all the way back home. I'm not
Nah,
sitting
see,
there.
I'd make it like a thing. I'd stayed out there for a little
I'm
while. The
not even
fight would
I'm
be
not
one
even
of the
trying to
things
be
I
on no
do.
plane no 18 hours anyway. So nah, I'm not going. I watch it from the comfort of my own home, and I can yell and scream at the TV. Ain't got to worry about nobody standing in front of me. Ain't got to worry about nobody smelling and all this stuff. I rather just watch it from my own home.
Shout out to 88 Sports, man. You know,
Real
talk
rap.
about
No,
getting
but
beat to death.
I agree. I agree with Boxing Scholar though. I think what they're going. I think what I believe is going to happen is they're going to use the blueprint that Turkey had put in place and try to get a governor head. I think they're going to use that blueprint and try to get all. It's not going to be. I ain't gonna say a governor head. I think they're going to try to get all of these promotional companies under the same banner where it's not as hard to make these fights with this other promotional company. They're going to be all under the same banner. They're going to all get equally paid the same amount of money, and the fighters are going to get whatever they negotiate for the fight. I think it's going to be somebody that's going to see what Turkey is doing. Say we don't need them overseas doing it. We can do it right here in America, and put all of these promotion companies under the same umbrella.
Speaking of that, Freak, you just spoke up something that I was just reading about. Shout out to Dr. Dre and LL Cool J for setting aside $200 million to create their own conglomerate for boxing. They got their own boxing promotion. I don't know if you guys have noticed. LL Cool J is a huge fan of boxing, and so is Dr. Dre. and they put their money together the same way that Canelo did, and they're looking to really do some big things. But what I will say is this: shout out to 88 Sports, the dude. Talk about beat to death. I beat him to death in fantasy football, to death.
Mm.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad. They talking about arresting me. I beat him so bad. But to tell you the truth, I really gotta say, in boxing as a whole, man, we really miss Uncle Op. Shout out to
Yo,
Al Heyman.
yo,
Go ahead.
BBO, real quick, real
Kareem,
one,
salute.
shout out, homie Kareem in '88. Real thing, since you just touched on football, real quick, I just want to get you and Free take on that Micah Parsons thing, just real quick, like 30 seconds. What that was? You think that was cold, or you think like it was cool?
What is
That
that
was
about?
crazy.
About him what?
You ain't heard what Micah Parsons said about his coach after the Eagles whooped on them?
No, I didn't.
Bro,
I heard people talking about it, but I didn't hear the
he
actual.
said,
Oh,
The
you
actual.
talking about
yo, he
you
said
talking
that Mike McCarthy can that Zach Martin and them done way more than Mike McCarthy could ever do. He can just go somewhere else. I was like, damn, like that was cold, man. But
and you know what? Speaking of that, I'm gonna tell you guys something else. For those out there who spreading those rumors, um, about Abdul Wahid not being with his coach, man, that's classless, bro. Say what you want. That's the man's father, dog. If I take care of a nigga his whole life, he's my son. So if you a content creator, man, talking about him and his father, man, that's classless, yo.
yeah,
BBO will never go there. At the end of the day, if him and his father got a problem, that's him and his father, man. Am I wrong, Free? We don't talk about nobody's father, man. We're not doing that.
I like to stay
That
out of that kind of
when it
stuff.
come when it come to when it and that's the only father I gotta get at that courtesy to is anybody who's getting trained by their father. I ain't got nothing to say about their father, but for me, I think the stuff I heard about Abdul Wahid and his father is classless, man. Because his father can't be an ain't-ish person when he had him when nobody knew him. Guess what? Newsflash, dummies. There would be no Abdul Wahid without Calvin Ford. Newsflash, there would be no Abdul Wahid without Kenny Ellis, Coach Squeeze. These guys really raised him. So for anybody to come out here with that goofy stuff talking about, oh, he ain't gonna be with his dad, and if he don't be with his dad, so what? That's none of our business, dog. That's the problem, man. We go too far sometimes in boxing. I had to say that because for me, I think that's so jacked up to talk about the man's freaking father, dog. That's crazy. But go ahead, my bad, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt your process. Go
Nah,
ahead.
you good, brother. Nah, I just wanted to just see what y'all say, what y'all thought about Micah Parsons. Since you just said something football, that just made me think about that
I think.
Parsons
I just think it's out of frustration. The team is doing real bad this year.
awful.
Uh, they
How many games he played, Scholar? Like what?
he played. I think he played like 4 or 5 games. I think he played like 4 or 5. I think he missed the last
What
three
you
or four.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
What you mean? What games I played on what?
No. I was some no. Free answered the question. I didn't know if you heard me. Go ahead, Free. Finish, Free. My
No,
bad.
I think he missed like 3 or 4 games. He just played this past week. I think he missed like 3 or 4 games, but I think he played like 5 games. So, um, it's. I just think it's out of frustration. The team, they don't have an identity. They don't know if they're a passing squad. If their running game is pretty much non and void. So I just think it's out of frustration. It's a little. I mean, it's not really so much on Mike McCarthy because he only can do but so much with the talent that he has. He don't have a running game. So when you don't have a running game, it makes your team one-dimensional, and they're going to key in on the quarterback. They're going to pin those ears back and go straight at the quarterback. They know that you're not running the ball because you don't have a running game. They average at somewhere around 2.3 yards a carry. They're like, man, we're not worried about that. You can run the ball 3 times and get 6 yards. We don't care about that. It's not a first down. We don't care about that. So they don't have an identity right now.
Man, that
Yo,
was good.
I
That
don't
was
know if
good
any of
there.
y'all got Madden. Load them up, man. I've been beating people so bad. They done sent the police to my house twice. BBO, you should know plays, man. You played in the NFL. I don't want no excuses without. I don't want to hear about the time you caught bronchitis when you was 3 years old or none of
Yeah.
that.
And man, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't good at no football games, man. I got that new college. I've been playing on all whatever. I've been getting scraped. I gotta keep playing while I get in there and get knocked out. But
So let me
I'll
find
say,
out you're an 8-year-old prospect like Boots.
let me say this real quick. All jokes aside, I think when you hear us say stuff about these fighters, I get it. A lot of guys are sharp and soft. So when you say something they think is personal, they say you're not gonna get an interview from them. You know what? I'm gonna just keep it real. Whether we get an interview with whoever or whatever, guess what, dog? You can't stop God's work. I never seen nobody stop what God got planned for you. Can't do it. You can't do it. At the end of the day, you gotta remember what my motto was, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts I have towards you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give an expected end. So you know what? They said we weren't gonna do it. You see, I grabbed my Puerto Rican homie and we done made ourselves something. I grabbed my man Richie Rich, you know, Mr. AP himself, Mr. Chico's grandson, you know. Look
Yeah.
what we doing, man. So shout out to Chico. And I'll put it like this. We gotta keep pressing prize so we can get the legendary, the Philly legend Chico on the show, man. We gotta get
Yeah,
Chico on the show,
that's
man.
tough to do.
That's what he said,
Yo,
but
you,
go ahead.
so you gonna give everybody they love but the white man on the panel? Brother, without me, this wouldn't be responsible. I'm responsible for all this. That toy curse background you got back there, brother. That's me, brother.
That's me. Hey,
But
but you
but no,
know,
this
go ahead.
I want to say this, BBO. Y'all do got a good thing going on over here, man. Y'all got good chemistry. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all watch First Thing First. It's
Mm-hmm,
supposed to be like a spin-off First Take, but it
mm-hmm,
just don't stick because the guy is like he like a geek and image matters and all that other stuff. He don't
mm-hmm.
got good chemistry. Like if they pick y'all up, y'all be a hit show, man. So keep doing your thing. And I also
Appreciate
wanted
you.
to say this. If you remove the racist gene in Puro, he makes some good ass points. Puro said he said that Jay-Z tried to get over in boxing, and we know Jay-Z touching a Billy. He not lying, bro. The powers to be, they create that wall. Unless you like somebody that got money like His Excellency, you probably gonna fail in it. I don't think 200 million is enough. I think you
I
need
don't
more than
either.
that. Jay-Z got a
I think you
billion.
need a couple billion. I think you need a couple.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. He got a country behind him. Kirky got a country behind him. I think he's the minister of entertainment or something like that. Dang,
Yeah,
you
but
make a good point. You make a good point because even dang, that's a good point, dog. Even Floyd can only do so much. Dang. Because you know what I was thinking? I looked this up, Free. They were using the Abdul Wahid fights to give other guys fights.
To do what?
So they were using the money they would make with Abdul Wahid to give his other fighters fights. And it's like, now I kind of see why Tank was so frustrated because he knew he was carrying everything. But they said he couldn't make another one. Shout out to Camille Moulton, man. I know he's gonna be the white gorilla, man. I think he's gonna be special, bro. I think he's gonna be special, man. And no matter how you put it, man, when he come to this boxing, man, it's no better sport in the world. I love the sport, man. Because guess what? Everybody we all love duck people. You guys know that Sugar Ray Robinson ducked a bunch of guys from the Black Motorers Row. He was scared to death of them. Yeah, he was. Sugar Ray Robinson, our quote unquote GOAT duck brothers.
that's a fact.
Religiously duck people. His manager came out and said, "We'll never fight." Free. Is that a bigger duck than that when your manager come out and said we'll never fight him?
Oh, that's a duck.
And y'all know Puerto Rican Free gonna keep it real.
That's
But
a duck.
we back tomorrow, man. We got a
Man,
special
hold up.
guest,
I can't
man.
let
Go
you
ahead.
get away with that. Nah, we can't let you get away with that. No, no. So
Mhm.
so back in the days, what did Floyd say? Well, you gotta understand, you got two versions of Floyd. You got Pretty Boy Floyd, and then you got Money Mayweather. Basically, what he be trying to tell people when he say that is he paid his dues. Then he got to be Floyd Money Mayweather.
Right.
Sugar Ray fought Tommy Hearns in his prime. He wasn't ducky Tommy Hearns' entire career, didn't fought him.
No,
He
I'm talking about
he
Sugar Ray
earned the right to
Robinson.
duck.
Robinson. I'm
Sugar
talking
Ray
about
Robinson.
Oh, okay. I
Robinson.
thought you were talking about Leonard. I was
Nah,
finna
he was
say.
ducking them.
Yeah.
He was ducking Charlie Burley and them back in the
Yeah,
day.
he
And
ran
then,
from
but
Burley.
Charles Burley was a bigger fighter. That's like saying Triple G ducked Andre Ward. He was a bigger fighter than him. Sugar Ray was a welterweight.
Well, Triple G did duck Andre Ward though,
Yeah, he definitely
How he
did.
never fought at
How you duck
68?
somebody that's not in your weight class?
because
That's
he said
crazy.
he was the one that said he had beat everybody from 68 on down, and he Andre Ward said, "Well, I come down to 60. You ain't even got to come up to 68. I come down to 60 and fight you." You're like, "Nah, he too big for me." Well, you the one
So did
said
Floyd duck him?
huh?
Did Floyd duck Triple G? Because Floyd said he'll beat Triple G, but then never fight him. And Triple G said he'll come to 47.
I mean,
he said it come to 54, and I ain't gonna. So he said 54, not 47.
I thought he said catch weight like 52, like what Canelo did.
I don't know. I don't know. He was big as hell.
I don't.
No, hey BBO, you gotta look that up because I want to say Teddy Atlas went live on ESPN and said Triple G said he can make 147. I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. I could be wrong.
He said I'm looking at the article. It said he will fight him at 52 like Canelo did. You're right. He was 52.
I don't know. I didn't hear that comment made by Triple G or Floyd. So I don't know. I can't speak on that. But if it did go down the way he said it, and Floyd said I beat Triple G, and Triple G said I come down, then yeah, that is a duck. That is a duck.
Damn, y'all bar is high on ducking, man. I don't feel like you can't duck nobody that ain't in your weight class. That's like saying
now this is the way I say it. This is the reason why I say it, because he's willing to come down. Now, if you say I beat him at 68 and he wants you to come up to 68 and you like, nah, I'm not ready to come to 68 yet, or whatever. Like similar to the Jamal Charlo when he said I break David Benavidez's neck, but he wasn't at 68. He was still at 60. If David Benavidez said I come down to 160, and then Jamal Charlo said, nah, I'm not fighting him, then yeah, that's a duck. You said you would beat him. He said he'll come down to 160. Why you can't make the fight? Now you didn't move up, so we didn't see the fight. I want to see you fight him at 168 and beat him. You said you would break his neck. Go ahead and beat him at 168. But that's why I said it's a duck, because you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there and said, I will beat anybody from 168 on down. Daggone Andre said, well, I will come down to 160. You ain't got to come to 168. I'll come down to 160. And he said, nah, Andre too big for me. Well, you the one said you would beat everybody at 168. He was at 168. You knew he was there when you said it. You thought he wasn't going to hear it. That's what it was.
I don't know. Well, shit. Hey, yo, Tank duck Bud then, because Tank say if he catch Bud on the chin, he'll knock him out. Tank duck Bud then.
And Tank also came back out and said, I was just
tripping.
Yeah, he said
Tank came out and said I was just
So this what you telling me. If Triple G would have came out and said, I was just bullshit. So if he'd have said that, then we'd have been like, oh, no, he ain't duck Andre Ward then.
I would have said, nah, he was bullshitting. The man said he was bullshitting. He was bullshitting. He knew he couldn't beat Andre Ward. He was bullshitting. That's what I would have said. That's what I would have said. I don't know what everybody else say. That's what I would have said.
And you know what? I gotta say that Freeze Puerto Rican behind would say that too. So I will give Puerto Rican Free that the biggest consistent.
Hey, and we gotta keep on being consistent. Ryan Garcia ducking Boots. Boots in it. You see you see where this goes?
I believe he is ducking Boots.
I mean, Ryan.
How you ducking somebody? It's not a realistic. That's what I'm saying. Every fighter got to carry a certain amount of confidence in the ring. They're supposed to say they can beat everybody up, whether they really believe it or not. They have to tell themselves that I'm the best fighter in the world. No, so they all think they can beat somebody.
I'm not saying that they don't believe they can beat them. I'm not saying that they don't. But if that opportunity presents itself and you don't take it when you say you believe you can beat them, then you ducking them.
Yeah.
Dang. So Canelo ducking Usyk.
That's crazy.
If Canelo said I can beat Usyk and Usyk present that fight for Canelo, yes, he's ducking him.
I did hear that he was going to fight Macboo at 180, and Macboo didn't want to fight. But we about to get out of here, man. You know, Scholar have us on here all day, man. But support Scholar, man. What time you come on tonight, Scholar?
I don't know, man. I can't. I gotta go to court, man. This old lady talking about I stole her car and some crazy stuff.
My grandson keeps saying you still in the car.
Yeah, false accusation. BBO trying to put them laws in my life, man. BBO, stop snitching, brother. I'm gonna have to come on with my stop snitching shirt, BBO.
I'm on TF Jam, baby. We wearing wires, man.
Dang, BBO, I knew it. I
Hey,
knew
but
it.
you know
YSL
what?
Woody. I knew it.
You know what I would say though, man. In all seriousness, man, I always try to leave on a good note. You know what, man? What we seeing with our rappers and stuff is sickening. Who makes millions of dollars and wants to throw stones at the penitentiary? You got to be the dumbest dude on the planet. Because you know what jail is like? Take a dump and flush your toilet and stick your head in there. That's what jail smells like. So if you want to go from, 1,500 count sheets to a stone slab with a metal toilet full with nothing but men, you's a goofy dog. So all those guys playing tough for my young kids watching, man, it ain't cool to be tough, man. It ain't cool to be tough. My father, a lot of my uncles lost a lot of their years sitting in jail cells, trying to be cool, throwing niggas off buildings, acting a fool. So go over to the Rise podcast. You got the legendary Coach Squeeze, and of course you got my homeboy, Mr. All Access himself, Senior Cobb. And we gone, y'all. Peace.